If you have stayed at a Las Vegas casino hotel in the last 18 months and you walked out of checkout feeling like the bill was roughly what you expected, I want you to do something right now. Pull up the credit card statement from that trip, not the folio they emailed you, the actual credit card statement. Because there is a very real possibility that your card was charged for something after you left the building, something that appeared 2 or 3 days after checkout when you were already home and no longer thinking about Vegas, something that the hotel is counting on you not noticing. And even if you noticed it, they are counting on the dispute process being complicated enough and your time being scarce enough that you will eventually decide the $50 or $100 or $400 they charged you is not worth the phone calls and the emails and the documentation and the escalation it would take to get it reversed. They are not wrong about that calculation for most people. Most people pay. That is why the system exists. That is why it keeps expanding. And that is why the specific charges I am going to walk you through today are not occasional errors or isolated incidents. They are documented, recurring, systematically practiced revenue mechanisms operating inside the hotel rooms of every major Las Vegas Strip property, 7 of them, running right now, on guests who have no idea they are targets until they check their statement. My name is Florian, and this is your warning. The first scam is the one that has generated more documented outrage on Las Vegas travel forums and Reddit communities than any other hotel charge in recent memory. It is the weight sensor minibar trap. And if you are staying at any major Strip property with a minibar in the room, you need to understand exactly how it works before you touch anything on that counter or in that refrigerator, because the mechanism is designed to be invisible until the charge hits your card. Modern hotel minibars at luxury Las Vegas properties are not passive storage units. They are weight sensor systems. Every item in the minibar, every bottle, every snack, every overpriced package of cashews sits on a sensor that registers its weight. When the weight changes, which happens the moment you pick something up, move it, or shift it to make room for something you brought yourself, the system registers a consumption event and automatically cues a charge to your room. You do not have to consume the item. You do not have to open it. You do not have to remove it from the minibar. You simply have to pick it up, turn it over to read the label, decide you don't want it, put it back down, and the system has already recorded a removal event that will show up on your bill. The documented case at Conrad Las Vegas involves a guest who was charged over $400 for minibar items she photographed with every single seal still visibly intact. She took pictures of every item in the minibar before she touched anything. She took pictures of every item at checkout. The seals were unbroken. And the hotel still refused to reverse the charges without a prolonged dispute process. Another guest at Harrah's picked up a sealed package labeled as a pleasure pack to read the description on the back, put it down without opening it, and was charged $40 for a single condom he never used. He disputed it at the front desk with photographic evidence that the seal was intact. The hotel reversed it, but the reversal required him going to the desk, showing the photos, escalating, arguing, and spending 30 minutes of his vacation fixing a charge that should never have appeared. The mechanism that generated the charge is still in place. The next guest who picks up that package and does not notice the charge on their bill will pay $40 for it. The defense against the minibar scam is simple, but requires you to do something the first moment you enter the room before you put your bags down and before you touch anything. Take your phone out and video the entire minibar. Every item, the refrigerator contents, the counter display. Make sure the video is time-stamped. Do this at check-in and do it again at checkout. And if you want to use the refrigerator for your own items, do not move the hotel's products to make room. Request a separate refrigerator from the front desk. Most Strip properties will bring one to your room. It is inconvenient. It is an absurd thing to have to do in a hotel you are paying $200 a night to stay in. But it is the difference between a clean bill and a dispute process you will be conducting from your living room 3 days after you got home. The second scam is operating in the rooms of the Venetian and the Palazzo and several other high-end Strip properties, and it is the one that I find most offensive because it targets guests specifically for the act of taking a shower, the $500 automated smoking fee. Modern Las Vegas hotel rooms at premium properties are equipped with particle sensors, environmental monitoring devices that detect smoke, vapor, and certain chemical compounds in the room's air. The stated purpose of these sensors is to detect whether guests have been smoking or vaping in a non-smoking room, and they are used to automatically trigger a damage fee of $500 that is billed to the room upon checkout. The sensor does not care whether the particle event it detected was caused by a cigarette. It detects particles and it triggers a charge, and the particles produced by a hot shower, specifically the steam from a 20-minute shower in a hotel bathroom with inadequate ventilation, have been documented in multiple verified reports to trigger these sensors and generate $500 charges for guests who have not smoked a single thing in the room. A verified Reddit case from the Las Vegas subreddit involved a guest who was charged $500 for smoking at the Venetian. He did not smoke, he did not vape, he disputed it with the hotel. The hotel's response was that the sensor had triggered and that the sensor's determination was their evidence. He asked for any other evidence. There was none. The hotel had a sensor log and a charge. He had his word and no smoke smell in the room and no smoking apparatus in his belongings. He eventually escalated to his credit card company and won the chargeback. But the chargeback required documentation, a letter explaining the dispute, follow-up correspondence, and weeks of process. The hotel disputed the chargeback. It was resolved in the guest's favor. The sensor is still in the room. The next guest who takes a long hot shower in that bathroom may face the same charge. The hotels will tell you that shower steam does not trigger the sensors. They have said this publicly and specifically. They have also been documented charging non-smoking guests based on sensor readings that were most plausibly caused by shower, steam, or hairspray, or the application of aerosol products that are entirely normal hotel room behaviors. If you are staying at a Venetian or Palazzo property, or at any strip property where you are not certain of the sensor situation, take the following precaution. Shower with the bathroom door closed and the exhaust fan running at full capacity. Do not use aerosol hairspray, dry shampoo, or other aerosol personal care products in the main room. If the room smells like anything when you check out, document it on video before you leave. And if you receive a smoking fee on your bill and you have not smoked anything, dispute it immediately at the front desk before you leave the property, before you return your key card, and before you lose the leverage of being physically present with your belongings, available to demonstrate that you are not a smoker. The third scam is not a billing trick. It is a physical safety failure that a major Las Vegas casino hotel knew about and did not fix, and that resulted in guests being robbed in their sleep. The broken door latch problem at the Delano, which is an MGM Resorts luxury property at Mandalay Bay, was documented in a Reddit thread that received over 540 upvotes and nearly 200 comments, and that represents one of the most alarming first-person accounts of hotel negligence I have found in this research. The guest reported that the door latch on their room had been broken in a specific way that meant the door would not click shut from inside unless you physically tested it by pushing it from the outside. The door looked closed. The door appeared closed. The door felt closed when you let go of it, but the latch mechanism was not catching, and anyone in the hallway could push the door open without a key card or any other form of access. The guest woke up in the middle of the night to find someone in their room who had simply pushed the door open. Cash from their wallet and bag was stolen while they were asleep inside the room. When the guest reported this to MGM security and management, the response suggested that this was a known condition rather than a surprise discovery. The lesson from the Delano incident is one that applies to every strip hotel check-in and not just Delano specifically, because broken door latches are not unique to one property. They are the result of deferred maintenance in buildings that have not received the capital investment needed to keep their physical infrastructure in proper working order. When you check into any Las Vegas hotel room, particularly at Caesars and MGM properties that have documented maintenance backlogs, your first physical action before you unpack should be to test the door. Close it from the inside, then go into the hallway and push it from the outside. Apply pressure. If the door gives even slightly, if there is any movement in the frame when you push, call the front desk and request a room change immediately. Do not accept the room. Do not assume maintenance will fix it quickly. Request a different room on a different floor and test that door as well. This is not paranoia. It is what one guest's $500 robbery and a 540 upvote Reddit thread are telling you to do. A practical additional measure that multiple experienced Las Vegas hotel guests have documented using is the portable door alarm. A wedge-shaped device that sits at the base of the door and triggers a loud alarm if the door is pushed open from outside. They cost less than $20 on Amazon. You can carry one in your luggage. If the door latch is broken and someone pushes your door open at 3 in the morning, the alarm wakes you up. The theft does not happen quietly while you sleep. Multiple travelers in the Reddit thread discussing hotel security specifically mentioned these wedge alarms as standard equipment for their Vegas trips. The fact that this device has become standard equipment for experienced travelers at 5-star casino hotels tells you everything about the state of physical security at strip properties that are too busy buying back stock to fix their door latches. The fourth scam is the one that requires the most presence of mind at checkout because it exploits the exact moment when you are most distracted, most tired, and most eager to get out of the building and into your car or your Uber, the Vanishing food and beverage credit. Many strip hotels offer food and beverage credits as compensation for various service failures during your stay. Your room was not ready at check-in time. The pool was closed for maintenance on the day you planned to use it. The concierge arranged a show ticket for the wrong night. In exchange for these inconveniences, the hotel issues a credit to your room account that is supposed to appear as a reduction on your folio. These credits are frequently lost between the department that issued them and the checkout system that processes your bill, not accidentally lost. Selectively lost in a way that requires the guest to advocate specifically for the credit to reappear. A documented case from the Vegas Reddit community with over 400 upvotes describes a guest who was owed a food and beverage credit that was not on her folio at checkout. She mentioned it to the front desk agent. The agent said it was not showing in the system. She insisted. The agent looked more carefully and found part of it. She continued to insist. The agent clicked through more screens and found the rest. The credit appeared. The guest noted specifically that each finding required her persistence to trigger, that the credits were in the system but not surfacing in the default checkout view, and that without her insistence, she would have paid the full amount and received nothing. The hotel did not make a mistake and correct it when challenged. The credit was in the system the whole time. It simply required the guest to know it existed and to push until it appeared. Before you go to checkout at any strip property where you believe you are owed a food and beverage or accommodation credit, write the credit down, the date it was issued, the amount, the name or department of the person who issued it. Carry that note to checkout. Present it before the agent pulls up your folio. Do not wait for it to appear on the screen before you mention it. Mention it first. If it is not on the folio, do not accept the explanation that it is not showing. Ask them to call the department that issued it. Have them find it in the notes on the reservation. Do not leave the desk until either the credit appears on your bill or you have a written explanation from a supervisor of why it does not. This is the only position from which you can dispute the missing credit later. Once you have accepted the folio and checked out, your leverage disappears. The fifth scam is the one that has been running the longest and that most travelers are aware of in a vague way but still fall for because the mechanism is hidden until the final moment. The resort fee, bait and switch. The resort fee is not a scam in the legal sense. It is disclosed, but it is disclosed in a way that is specifically designed to be missed by the maximum possible number of guests before the booking is completed, and the timing of the disclosure is engineered to exploit the psychology of sunk costs. You go online to search for a Las Vegas hotel room. You find a rate that looks reasonable. You spend 15 minutes selecting your dates, your room type, your bed configuration. You enter your loyalty number. You put in your preferences. You are now 15 minutes invested in this particular booking at this particular property, and your brain has already started visualizing the trip. And then, on the final confirmation screen, before you enter your credit card number, the resort fee appears as a line item, $45 per night. For a 3-night stay, that is $135 added to a room that was advertised at a price that did not include it. Most people pay it Because they are 15 minutes into the booking and they have already decided this is where they are staying, and the psychological cost of starting over at another property feels larger than the $135 fee represents. The hotel knows this. The resort fee is positioned at the end of the booking flow precisely to exploit this psychology. If it were disclosed on the search results page alongside the room rate, a meaningful number of guests would select a different property. The placement is not an interface oversight. It is a conversion optimization strategy. The practical defense is a booking habit change that takes 30 seconds. Before you begin entering any personal information on a hotel booking, scroll to the bottom of the rate details page and look for the fees section. At major Las Vegas properties, the total with fees is sometimes buried in a separate expandable section below the room rate. Calculate the actual per night cost, including all fees, before you invest any time in the booking. If the total with fees rate is not acceptable, close the tab and look at alternatives. The Station Casinos properties do not charge resort fees. Several off-strip properties do not charge resort fees. The math of a 10-minute additional search to find a property without fees will save you more money than the cheap room rate that drew you to the strip property in the first place. The sixth scam is the post-checkout damage charge, and it is the one that arrives most insidiously because it comes after you have left the building, after you have returned home, and after you have mentally closed the chapter on the trip. The mechanism is straightforward. The hotel inspects the room after checkout. If the inspection team identifies any condition in the room that can be characterized as damage beyond normal wear, they charge the card on file for the repair or replacement cost. The charge appears on your credit card statement 2 to 4 days after checkout. You are not present to dispute it. You have no ability to inspect the condition of the room. The hotel has photographs from their inspection. You have whatever you photographed before you left, if you photographed anything at all. The damage charge is legitimate when actual damage has occurred. But the system also enables charges for conditions that were present when you checked in, for normal wear that the hotel categorizes as damage, and for issues that have nothing to do with your occupancy. A stain on the carpet that was there when you arrived, a scratch on the furniture that predated your stay by years, a towel that was already frayed when you used it. None of these things are your responsibility, but they are things that a hotel inspection team can document and charge to the last guest if the last guest left without documenting the room's condition themselves. The defense is the same systematic video documentation that protects against the minibar charge. Walk every inch of the room on arrival and record what you find. Damaged items, stained surfaces, worn furniture, marks on the walls. Send the video to your own email address to establish a timestamp. When you check out, video the room again in the same configuration. If a damage charge appears on your card, you have before and after documentation that establishes the room's condition was not changed by your occupancy. That documentation is the difference between a successful chargeback and a paid damage charge for something you did not do. The seventh scam is the least discussed and the most recently emerging, and it is directly related to the broader collapse of service quality at strip properties that have been cutting staff. It is the mandatory amenity fee for amenities that are not available. The resort fee that you are charged includes a stated list of benefits: pool access, gym access, in-room Wi-Fi, local phone calls, the business center, the fitness classes, the Pool Cabana check-in kiosk, the whatever else they are adding to the list this quarter. These benefits are used to justify the resort fee as a legitimate charge rather than a pure extraction mechanism. But at multiple documented strip properties, guests have been charged the full resort fee and then discovered that specific amenities included in the fee were unavailable during their stay. The pool was closed for resurfacing, the gym equipment was under repair, the business center hours had been reduced, the amenity that justified a portion of the $45 daily fee was inaccessible. The documented approach that has the highest success rate for partial resort fee recovery is to ask at checkout, specifically and in writing, which amenities you were able to use and which were unavailable during your stay. If the pool was closed for 2 of your 3 nights, ask for a partial credit on the resort fee proportional to the unavailability of the pool access you were paying for. Most front desk agents are not authorized to make this adjustment and will tell you they cannot do it. Ask for the manager. The manager has authorization to issue adjustments and knows that the alternative is a credit card dispute that the hotel will likely lose anyway. You will not recover the full resort fee, but you will often recover a partial credit that represents the hotel acknowledging that it charged you for something it did not provide. The practice of charging full resort fees for partially unavailable amenity packages is the logical extension of every other extraction mechanism this channel has documented, and it is only going to expand as more strip properties cut their operational budgets while maintaining their fee structures. These 7 scams are not being run by rogue employees acting outside the knowledge of corporate management. They are systemic features of the revenue model that has replaced genuine hospitality on the Las Vegas Strip. The weight sensor minibar that charges you for touching an item you never consumed was designed by a product team and approved by a management committee. The particle sensor that charges $500 for shower steam was installed with full knowledge of its false positive rate, and with the calculation that most guests who receive false positive charges will pay rather than fight. The broken door latch that allowed a thief to walk into a guest's room at the Delano was a known maintenance issue that was not resolved because the capital that should have fixed it was being returned to shareholders. The Vanishing food and beverage credit was structured into a checkout system that makes it retrievable only by guests who know to look for it and persist until it appears. The resort fee disclosure is placed at the end of the booking flow by conversion optimization engineers who know exactly what they are doing. The post-checkout damage charge is a revenue mechanism that exploits the guest's absence. The amenity fee for unavailable amenities is the final iteration of a philosophy that says the price we charge bears no obligation to correspond to the value we deliver. The only effective response to all 7 of these mechanisms is the combination of documentation, knowledge, and the willingness to spend your money somewhere else. Document your room on arrival. Document the minibar. Document any existing damage. Document the room at departure. Keep every piece of paper the hotel gives you during your stay. Request a printed folio before you check out and review every line before you hand back your key card. Know what credits you are owed and name them at checkout before the folio is pulled up. Test your door latch the moment you arrive, and before you book the next strip property, ask yourself whether the alternatives that do not run these mechanisms would serve you better. The answer for most travelers is yes. The answer is Biloxi, where the hospitality is real and the bills reflect what you actually consumed. The answer is Laughlin, where the room costs $50 and there is no resort fee and no weight sensor minibar and no automated smoking sensor. The answer is downtown Las Vegas, where the Circa and the D and the Golden Nugget are competing for your business rather than extracting from your ignorance. The Strip is charging your card right now. The only question is whether you know enough to make it stop.